Well, as some of you guys may know, I recently finished college last semester and I'm currently taking a gap semester for research. Now, I managed to finish college fast, I grinded a lot, and now I'm here. But research recently has been kind of slow, so I came to the natural conclusion that any normal human being would when they're bored. Let me make a college advice video. Now you see, I finished college in 2.5 years, and now that it's over, I figured I might as well tell you 4 lessons that I wish I knew before I started college. Let's get to it. Now the first thing is to know that when you first get to college, no one actually knows what they're doing. Now I want to keep this a little bit shorter, so we'll go fast. First of all, when you get to college, no one knows what they're doing. In fact, I'd say that the actual ratio of people that know what they're doing to people that have no idea what they're doing is probably like 1 to 4. The 1 out of 5 people that actually know what they're doing probably just have parents or siblings that went through the process and were able to guide them really well. But most people that seem as though they know what they're doing are probably just better than you at faking it. For example, that guy that tells you like he has his entire future planned out, like he's going to be this major, go to this internship, then get that job, do it all on this specific timeline. That guy's probably just trying to show you that he has a big shtick, because in reality, he has a teeny shtick, you know? You ever heard of like overcompensating? Anyways, now don't let these people make you feel as though you're super behind. The truth of the matter is, the fact that people don't know that much as they're going along only really uncovers itself the further and further along you go. For example, 2 years down the road, right, when you're long past talking to these people, you'll see that they completely changed up everything that they're doing. They're no longer a comp sci major, they're now a business major or something like that. Just stay on your course and don't get fazed by what other people are doing or saying. Now, college is the prime example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. The guys who actually know what they're doing are like quieter. They're not gonna tell you what they're doing, and they internally feel as though they're barely scraping by, while the guys who try to tell you everything they're doing, like blah blah blah, they're the guys who don't actually have any idea what's going on. So in the end, I'd say it's totally okay to go into college with no idea what you're doing. The thing is, it's not okay, however, to leave college with no idea what you're doing. You want to find a strong support system of people who know more than you, who can guide you through the entire process. The second thing I would say is to try to do things outside of your comfort zone. Now, number 2 is, in order for college not to feel like high school 2.0, the most important thing for you to do is to step outside of your comfort zone and do things that you are not quite comfortable with. Now, I don't mean like go commit a crime, although certain things like some of these things like you might have to try in college to figure out if these are things you don't like doing. And I'd say that in general, college is probably the safest environment for you to try these things out. Now, personally, when I went to college, I went through some of these phases, and later on I realized it was not for me and I moved on, and I'm thankful at least that I tried it out. Anyways, what I mean more so is like talking to people you didn't necessarily want to talk to, reaching out to connect to different people, trying to start your own business, taking on a role somewhere you didn't necessarily think you were 100% ready for, being active in a club, just doing things that it's possible that you could fail at. Because college is the perfect environment for you to fail in a risk-free fashion. Just trying new things will be one of the only reasons that college is a valuable experience for you. Sometimes these experiences might be handed to you. For example, if you have friends who are super active and like to reach out a lot, they might pull you along with something they're doing, and you'll try doing something you're uncomfortable with. Otherwise, you're going to have to try to reach out and create these opportunities for yourself. And this is something pretty important going on for the rest of your life as well, because you'll hear a lot of people who say like they got too comfortable and that's why they started burning out, that's why they started getting really complacent. College is the perfect time for you to start practicing stepping outside of your comfort zone. That way, later on in life, you don't burn out. The third thing I would say is that relationships are more important than the place. Now, the next thing is that truly relationships are greater than the place that you're at for college. When I was in high school, my dream was to go to college in the city, but I always say I ended up going to college in the cornfields, you know? But I did meet some wonderful people and develop some great friendships along the way. Now, one thing I'll say is you'll be surprised how quickly you get acclimated to a place, even if you don't necessarily like it. And also, you'll be surprised how quickly you'll start to feel incredibly lonely if you don't have a strong group of people that you vibe with. Now, I recently moved to the city to start doing research, a lot of people in the city, right? Like a whole city, whole sea of fish, or whatever they call it. Yeah, whole sea of fish, right? But I don't really know anyone here, and I must say it's a lot lonelier here than there, because here I don't really know that many people, and there at least I had a handful of friends, Now, you might not think the location of your college is perfect, but these things should be lower on your list of priorities. Does your college provide you with the resources and opportunities you need to succeed? Are the demographics something that you think that you'd enjoy? Like, if you spent all your life in a place that was pretty diverse, and now you're going to school with like 75% white people, like, it's gonna mean unseasoned vegetables and like a lot less Asian people for you to hang out with, in my case. And it for me personally, it wasn't something that I was that comfortable with. If I had to do it over again, I'd say that these aspects might be higher on my list of priorities than just something like the location of the college. The fourth thing I would say is to try to come up with little systems to make the things you have to do more enjoyable. Now, the last and possibly most important thing is just, in college, you'll have lots of goals. For example, get an internship, get XYZ grades, or get a girlfriend or something like that. Now, these goals take a lot of work, and and sometimes you have a mentality of like, I'll grind today, be happy tomorrow. For example, you put in a shit ton of time today to get good grades, sacrifice hanging out with your friends and all those things, right? And then the day comes, you get good, you finish college, you have the good grades, and now what? You feel happy for a couple of days, and then it's just a number again. At least that's what it was like for me, right? Or your goal is like get an internship, and you're like, I'll grind to get that internship, and you're kind of miserable. You get that internship, and then the time comes, and you're like, okay, now that I have the internship, it's a little bit less cool, like it's just whatever. It's really important that instead of constantly thinking that like, I'll put off my happiness today in order that I can have some more happiness tomorrow, it's important to try to make whatever you have to do today more enjoyable. Otherwise, let me tell you, tomorrow's never going to come. For me, one of these examples of things that I did was Anime Doro, just to make that entire studying process feel a lot more enjoyable. But just make sure you have some sort of system in place for everything. For example, let's say like you don't really like studying that much, but it's important. Either like some system that you study more with your friends, or like you always get your favorite drinks when you study, or like you study in a whole bunch of unique locations to make that entire process just a little bit more enjoyable for you. That way you're enjoying the journey. It doesn't necessarily feel like a grind, and when you get to the destination, you can look back at the process and be satisfied with it. It's easy for me to say after the fact that I wish I had enjoyed my time a little bit more, and like, for example, but the thing is, I don't necessarily know if I wouldn't have grinded as hard if I had to redo it all. I actually kind of enjoyed it, but I think I would have tried to incorporate a lot more little things to make the process more enjoyable. For example, like trying out more snacks in the study process, or like going to a few of the different like study locations that I've never been to see like if certain places were cooler. Studying with friends a little bit more, like it might have made a difference, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that you should party more, study less. What I'm saying is you want to find little mechanisms to make the things that you judge that you have to do more enjoyable. Now, anyways, these are my 4 tips that I wish I knew before college. And to finish it out, I'll give you one bonus one. And that is, if you live anywhere that rains like any decent amount at all, get rain boots, because like I cannot even tell you the number of days that my socks were wet, and that's just kind of disgusting. And another one is don't chase girls your freshman year. Yeah. Anyways, as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.